IELTS Speaking 1 Part 1 Talk Mental Health Examiner. Good morning. What's your full name? Good morning. My full name is Monica Balqish Sari. You can just call me Oni for short. Examiner. Can I see your identification, please? Yes, certainly. My number sudden is 2112303 and 2. International Relation 2. Examiner. Thank you. Let's talk about emotion. How do you usually deal with stress? That's a very relevant question. Whenever I feel overwhelmed or stressed, I often grab my comfort food to feel better. Spending time playing with my cat is a great distraction. I put on some calming and chill music to help me relax and unwind. Connecting with my twins and sharing stories always helps. We watch romantic movies together as a feel-good activity, and I like to clear my head by riding my motorcycle in the evening. Examiner, do you think you're good at managing your own emotion? Yes, I think I can. I manage my emotion when I feel emotional. Examiner, do you think you're good at managing your own emotion? Yes, I think I can manage my emotion when I feel emotional. I am the type of person who doesn't immediately get angry, but first sort things out and understand what the problem is. Then I look for a solution to the problem, and only after that do I express my emotion through anger, but not too instantly, without involving physical contact or raising my voice. After that, I will definitely forgive the person who caused the problem. Examiner, whom do you usually talk to when you feel strong emotion like angry, sad, or excited? It really depends on the emotion and the context. When I'm feeling sad or angry, I almost always turn to my siblings or my twins. She is my main source of emotional support because I trust her judgment, and she provides a safe, non-judgmental space for me to vent. She is excellent listener and can often offer a fresh perspective that helps me evaluate the situation. On the other hand, when I am extremely excited about an achievement or a new idea, I love to share that with my parents. Their enthusiasm is infectious, and celebrating with them multiplies the joys. In short, I have a trusted inner circle for different types of emotional sharing. Examiner, what do you do to stay emotionally healthy? Okay, maintaining emotional health is an ongoing commitment. Much like physical fitness, I adhere to a few core habits. Firstly, I prioritize quality sleep because a lack of rest is a granted trigger for emotional fragility. Secondly, I dedicate time each week to hobbies that bring me genuine joy, like dancing or drawing. These activities are essential for mental detachment and rejuvenation. Thirdly, and perhaps most importantly, I practice digital detox. I deliberately switch off my phone and laptop for several hours a day, especially in the evening, to avoid the constant comparison and pressure that often comes with social media. This conscious effort to create boundaries between my inner world and external demands is vital for my long-term emotional well-being. IELTS Speaking 1 Part 2 Examiner, now I'm going to give you a topic. You'll have a minute to prepare, and you should speak for 1 or 2 minutes, okay? When my father passed away yesterday, on March 22, 2025, I felt like I couldn't control my emotion. I constantly felt prolonged sadness, anger toward God for taking away my beloved father, inability to focus on various matters, irregular eating habits, and a lack of motivation to continue my studies. As an introvert, the grief of losing my father made me more withdrawn, gloomy, and less cheerful than before. However, thanks to drawing closer to the Creator, beginning to accept it with the support of my family and friends, I finally rose up, become better able to control my previously unstable emotion, and regained my enthusiasm for studying to bring happiness to my family. The lesson I learned from this is that life goes on no matter what. It doesn't just stop at that moment. Learn to accept that, be patient with the destiny that God has determined. It's okay to be sad, but don't overdo it, and don't let it break your spirit. Keep going, because I believe my Father is cheering me on from heaven. IELTS Speaking 1 Part 3. Examiner, how important is emotional health compared to physical health? Okay, in my opinion, it's not a matter of one being more important than the other, rather, they are interdependent and equally vital. You cannot truly separate them. Physical health is the foundation. It allows us to be active and functional, but emotional health is the engine that drives our quality of life. For instance, chronic stress and emotional state can manifest as physical ailments like high blood pressure or compromised immune function. Conversely, if someone has poor physical health, it almost inevitably leads to feelings of depression, anxiety, or low self-esteem. Therefore, I believe they exist in a symbiotic relationship, where neglecting one will inevitably cause the other to suffer. For a genuinely fulfilling life, we must pursue holistic well-being that gives equal weight to both the mind and the body. Examiner, why do some people find it difficult to express their emotion? Okay, there are several deep-seated reasons for this difficulty. Firstly, there's a strong element of cultural conditioning at play. In many societies, particularly for men, showing vulnerability like sadness or fear is often seen as a sign of weakness, leading to the belief that emotion must be suppressed or bottled up. Secondly, people fear judgment or rejection. When they have expressed strong feelings in the past, they might have been met with dismissal or ridicule, creating a learned response to shut down emotionally to protect themselves. A third factor is a lack of emotional vocabulary or literacy. If a person hasn't been taught how to identify, label, and articulate complex feelings, they simply don't have the tools to express them effectively, and silence becomes the easier option. Examiner, do you think schools need to teach emotional intelligence? Absolutely. I think it's a non-negotiable part of modern education. academic skills, while important, are insufficient for navigating the complexities of adult life. Emotional intelligence, EQ, the ability to understand and manage one's own emotion and to recognize and influence the emotion of others, is arguably a stronger predictor of success and happiness than IQ. Schools should integrate dedicated curricula for teaching concepts like empathy, conflict resolution, and stress management from a young age. By teaching children to understand their feelings and those of their peers, we equip them with the social and psychological tools necessary to build healthy relationships, handle adversity, and ultimately contribute more positively to society. It's a vital investment in the next generation's well-being. Examiner, how does social media affect people's emotional well-being? Okay, social media has a highly double-edged effect on emotional well-being. On the positive side, it can be a powerful tool for connection, allowing people to find communities and support networks which combat feelings of loneliness. However, the negative impacts are far more pervasive today. The constant export to curated, idealized version of other people's life leads to intense social comparison and fosters a sense of inadequacy or failure, which significantly damage self-esteem. Furthermore, the reliance of external validation such as likes and comments can make a person's emotional state depend on the approval of strangers, leading to anxiety and a fragile sense of self-worth. Finally, the sheer volume of information and constant notification contributes to attention fragmentation and cognitive overload, making it incredibly difficult to be truly present and content, which is fundamental to emotional health. Thank you.